Stay behind the pendulum is just a call out to say, before I get too excited, before I jump into the solution, did I run my process? Now, I mentioned that there's psychology. Okay. So as you're hearing this, this is steeped into what's known as the principle of reactance. And if you want to go down a rabbit hole, Jeff Greenberg, look at it. But essentially, the notion of the principle of reaction is that people want to exercise their freedom of choice when it's restricted. Right? You see that graphic there, right? Don't press this button. It's like, no, I want to press that button. Another way you can think about this is it's a little bit of reverse psychology. So you may not know the author, Henny Youngman, king of the one-liners. Person walks into a library and says, I hope you don't have a book on reverse psychology. So the psychology here is that when we are pushing somebody away from the sale at a psychological level, they will either move more towards the sale or you'll get the truth, which is that this really wasn't a fit to begin with. As you put this into practice, the first step is when you're getting into conversations, simple reflection. Is the person I'm talking to positive? Are they neutral? Are they negative? And it doesn't matter which point they come in. I know that my response is to meet them somewhere on the pendulum where they are. And my goal is to pull them slightly away. Because if I can do that, they will convince me versus the other way around. All right. Last thing. You've been learning a lot of different Sandler strategies and tactics. There's one particular Sandler technique that we have taught you where you will go behind the pendulum as part of that technique. So this is where it all ties together. Does anyone know what that technique is? Many of you captured it in the beginning of where you're having success. All right, Harry. It is the upfront contract. So where within the upfront contract do you go behind the pendulum? So there's that last thing that you said, right? Which is the outcomes part of the upfront contract. So when you hear yourself saying on a call with a prospect, by the time we get to the end of this, you'll have a good sense as to whether or not this is a good fit, right? That is behind the pendulum language.
Mm.
We're good at what we do, but we're not a good fit for everybody, and we may not be a fit here. So that's where the technique within the technique. So your upfront contract, we taught you this strategy. We didn't quite call it staying behind the pendulum, but it's every time you're slightly pulling away the sale that keeps your prospect in discovery mode versus us trying to convince them.